on, whether you're looking to move a listing or move an actual, or look for buyers, you can go ahead and select, right? Maybe I want to target renters on your listing. Or if I'm looking to pick up new listings in the area, I might only want to target owners, right? But for the sake of kind of our presentation today, I'm going to go ahead and just click on everybody. Okay, I want everybody to get my text message. Then we're going to go into step 2. And in step 2, it's pretty straightforward, right? Well, you have a box here, and I'll explain some of these tags, and I'll show you kind of what these other little things here do. But basically, as you type, you'll be able to see the preview on your right-hand side, right? So you know exactly what your message is going to look like. So exactly the way you see it on this screen here is the exact same way somebody is going to receive it on their phone. Okay, so there's no kind of automatic insertion of anything outside of what you put in this box. Okay, so I want to talk about some of these tags that are very powerful and can really, really help you with your text message. So we have pretty much everybody's data in terms of who's going to be receiving your text message, right? We know their first name, their last name, property address, down to the type of car that they drive. So you can use some of these tags to personalize your text message in order for them to actually kind of read it and feel like it's directly coming to them, right? So you can say, for example, hi, and you can enter the person's name, right? So it's going to go ahead and it's going to enter their first name. And you can just begin to type and say, just, wanted to let you know that a property, on your street just got listed. Right? Something along those lines is what a lot of agents tend to write. And then you can go ahead and enter the property address. Some of these other tags, like address, will insert the recipient's home address, right? A lot of agents like to use that when offering maybe a free market evaluation, right? Or help them get a value check on their property. They can enter that tag as well, and it'll insert the recipient's address. Same thing with the home value, right? Home value tag, it'll get basically their assessed value, and it'll basically insert it in the text message, which is a really awesome feature, right? And it really just helps when somebody's looking at it that it feels like it's personalized. It's not just a generic message that you're sending out to everybody. So that's something that definitely helps set us apart from our competitors. Now, does CLIX Media double check these numbers? Yes. So we are only as good as our data providers, right? So most of the numbers that you see within our database are scrubbed for the do not call list. So with that said, that's a perfect segue into this little tag that you see that's named stop. In your message, however long you make it, make sure to always include the stop tag at the very, very end. The reason for this is that is going to go ahead and send a second message to the recipient as an opt-out option. Okay, we always want to give somebody the ability to be able to opt out. Okay, so as we already know, right, we hear the horror stories, oh my God, this person sent out a text blast and they got fined. It doesn't really work that way in the sense of you sending out a text to someone. It's when you consistently begin to spam them right after they've asked you to stop that they're going to, right? So what we did was we're basically helping protect you and helping protect ourselves. So that stop feature will remove them from your list and our database entirely, okay? So in essence, once they hit stop, they'll never receive a text message from anybody using the CLIX Media platform ever again. Okay, that's kind of what we do to help keep things moving pretty steady. Now the insert link button here, so let's say maybe you want to showcase your listing and you have a nice single page property website, or you just want to go ahead and send somebody the MLS link of the property. Well, that's usually like a very long link, right? So all you can do is you can paste your entire link here, and I'm just going to say, myhome.com. And you can hit the insert button. So what this is going to do is it's going to shorten it just like that, and it's going to highlight it in blue. Okay, so the person knows to designate that's an actual link. Okay, it's in blue that they can click on it. And the reason we go ahead and we shorten it is number one, to save you space, and number two, to be able to track it, right? So anybody who clicks on it, we can get you some stats back on, hey, this person clicked on this link, this person clicked on this link. So ideally, it's something pretty straightforward and should be done in most kind of marketing realms, but like I said, it's something that we just make available to all of our users. Okay, so we have kind of our tags, we have our links, templates. So oftentimes kind of when a lot of agents hear about us, they're like, yeah, I'd definitely love to try it out. But when they get to step 2, they get a little nervous, right? They're like, well, what am I going to write? I don't know exactly what to send out. So we have some templates that we've made available. And, right, so there's just a bunch of different ones that we kind of just collectively put together and that you can use to pretty much read it and insert it as your message, right? You have the freedom to alter it once it's in this box, but it's more just to kind of get the kind of brain juices flowing, right? Like give you maybe some creative ideas on what you can write to help maybe, you know, spark a conversation or get a response back. So those are our templates. Now let's talk about kind of inserting a picture in the body of the message, right? So all you have to do is really click the choose file button. Normally I tend to have some on my form here. Why don't we do this? I think it might be large. Why don't we do something along the lines of something like this? There we go. So I'm just going to go ahead and insert this message, this picture into my actual text message, and here's what it'll look like. So you can actually insert up to 3 pictures. Now the value of being able to put an actual picture in the body of the text message is, you know, anybody can see that picture. A lot of agents will put, you know, an actual picture of the flyer that they've generated for their property, right? So ideally, instead of having a PDF of the flyer, they would use a JPEG and upload it here so somebody can actually see it, or maybe a picture of the pool, a picture of the front. So you can do up to 3 pictures that you can embed directly into the message, right? And that's powerful because then nobody has to click a link to go anywhere, right? They can just go ahead and see whatever you want them to see instantly. And that, again, right, there's definitely power in that, where they don't have to take any extra action to get them to do what you want, right? Because again, the consumer is lazy, right? If I have to click one extra link, I'm just not going to do it. That's kind of the way they think. So that's one of the major added values of using the text plus picture message. And then at the very end, before you put your stop tag, just always make sure to include your contact information. You know, you can just say, you know, Cameron Bromley, and then, you know, your DRE number, and then your phone and email. So our system, as I mentioned, will not automatically send your contact information out with your text message. We leave it up to our agents to always make sure they type it in within their actual message. Any questions so far kind of in step 2, guys, in terms of kind of putting the message together, maybe using some of the tags, uploading a picture? Any questions at all? No? Am I going too fast? No? Pretty straightforward? Nice. Looking at the heads like, no. No, yeah. Okay, great. And then, so let's say we've crafted our message. This is exactly kind of what it looks like. Let's go into step 3. And step 3 pretty much is where you can just classify what kind of message it is. That's more for data collection purposes on our end. And then you can also pretty much select the send date, when you want it to go out, and down to the time that you want it to go out, right? So this is a great feature, especially when you're going to have an open house, right? Obviously, we're a little limited with the current market, but you know that should change pretty soon. But a lot of agents, for example, will send out a text message maybe on a Wednesday afternoon, letting everybody know middle of the week, hey, I'm going to have an open house. Here's the date and time. Then they'll go back in, send the second message the morning of the actual open house, maybe about 10 a.m., right, or depending on whatever it is. And they'll set it up and say, hey, by the way, I'm going to, you know, we'll be at our open house 2 to 4 p.m. Come on by. There'll be hot dogs and balloons for the kids. I mean, right, they get as creative as they want with the message, but the power of being able to schedule your message is huge, right? Because you can definitely determine when they'll receive it to kind of increase your chances of them actually reading it. Then you can just select basically how many text messages you actually want to go out, right? So we have a 100 plan, 200 plan, 300 plan, and the one where you can actually customize how many you actually want to go out. So let's just say you're a little bit hesitant to maybe use CLIX, so you're going to go ahead and do the 200 plan. You click next, okay? So you're going to be able to see the details of your message, how many recipients there are, what the message is, and the picture that's inserted, right? So you can see your price here of $18 for 200 text messages to be sent out. You're going to say, well, maybe 200 is just a little. I'd like to send maybe to 300, right? You can go back, and for $1 more, you can send it out to 100 more people, right? So now you're at 19, okay? If you wanted to customize the amount of recipients, you can definitely do so by saying, maybe I want to send it out to, 450. You click on next. It'll actually basically, I guess I didn't hit apply, but it'll basically calculate the actual 450 based off the price point that we have for you guys. So it makes it really easy to pretty much select the amount of text messages that you want to go out, select the area, customize your message. Now, let me show you what happens when you actually send the actual text message out, right? So aside from your basic checkout screen, I'm going to go back to our dashboard. And I'm going to look at some orders that we've actually done in the past, right? So all these are different ones that we've actually sent out. And by clicking your little drop-down button, you actually have some options, okay? So for example, we go ahead and provide a PDF report of everybody who received your text message, okay? So we give you their first name, last name, we give you their address, okay? And we give you the deliverability rate and their phone number, right? So again, this is the way that we can basically prove that what you're paying us to do, we're actually doing it, right? So you can basically call anybody on this phone, on this list, right? And basically say, hey, did you receive an actual text message, right? So basically at 90% deliverability rate is kind of normally where we are at, right? We've seen 80%, 82%, 90%, but ideally 90% deliverability rate is, I think, amazing, right, for what you're paying. And so we have a couple different statuses in, right, like unconfirmed, deliver, and sent. So ideally, the way we determine that is just kind of like on your iPhones, right? When you send an iPhone to iPhone message, you can see where it's delivered in red, right? So we get some of those stats back. With our Androids, we don't get, all we get is a sent, right? So that's when you'll see the sent, and then oftentimes you might see an unconfirmed, and that's when, hey, we sent out a text message, but we were not able to get an actual signal back. So you can actually see this PDF. We also provide it in an actual, this little chat screen to the left here, guys. We can actually also provide it in a CSV file, right? So maybe if anybody has any CRM that you want to use or load this data into, you can definitely do so. We have what's called the repeat function. So if you wanted to send out a text message to this same area once again, you can go ahead and hit the repeat section. It's going to go ahead and take you into step 2 already. It's going to allow you to bypass step 1, right? Because you already kind of know the area. Here's the original message that you sent out. You can go ahead and adjust it and kind of go through steps 2, 3, and 4. Now, one other feature that a lot of agents tend to ask about is kind of the campaign feature. So ideally, as you know, in the example we did, I think that was 548 people in the area, right? And what you can do is, depending on how many people are left, this little campaign feature will activate. So for example, let's say there's 500 people around my listing, and the first text message I send out is for 100. That means there's 400 people left. I can go ahead and hit the campaign button, and it's going to say, great, your first text message was 100 people. There's 400 people left who have not received your text message. Out of these 400, how many would you like to send your text message to? Great, another 100. So you can go through 100, 200, all the way until you go through every single contact that was around your listing. And you can ensure that there will be no duplicates, right? So that's kind of why we basically did what's called a campaign. So in essence, you're not paying twice for somebody to receive your text message, right? So somebody actually had a question in regards to, it was Maggie, in regards to responses. So think about this as a one-lane highway, right? What you guys pay us for is deliverability, right? We're basically guaranteeing that we're going to go ahead and deliver your message into someone's phone. When they respond back, that response goes nowhere. That's the main reason we always tell every single agent, please include your contact information or the call to action that you want someone to take when they look at your text message. Okay, that's definitely a big thing. We've set it up. We've told with allowing two-way communication, but there's just definitely a lot of different variables there that might confuse people. So ideally, we do what we do best is deliver your message to everybody's phone on that list for the most part. Numbers. So we live in that world of robocalls now and like text messages all the time, but they tend to come from like 4, 5, 6, like basically 6-digit numbers, right? So what we've done a little bit differently is we basically bought a block of numbers in every single area code within Southern California, right? So depending on where your recipient is located, they're going to get a text message from a number within their same area code, right? So what does that do? That increases the likelihood that they're actually going to open it up and read it. So those, again, those are some of the things that we do a little bit differently than some of other people who are within the text marketing realm. So, I mean, in essence, that is kind of really CLIX in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. We made this service as easy as possible, right? To be able to just kind of go in there, set up a text message, create your message, and basically just get it sent out, right? You don't want to go through too many hoops when sending out a marketing campaign. So let me give you some other notes as well as to kind of what this is and what this is not. So this is not like the answer to everything, right? Again, it's just a way for you to broadcast something. A lot of agents use it, and sometimes they won't get a response back. They're automatically assuming, well, I'm going to send this text message out, and I'm going to get a bunch of responses. It doesn't technically work that way, right? I mean, just think about the times you get calls or you get text messages, right? I mean, we don't respond. We just kind of move on forward, but we see it. So that's a little caveat that we always tell a lot of our agents. Don't expect this to be the answer to all your marketing. It's just basically something on the spoke of your entire marketing that you do, right? Your direct mail, if you're doing any Instagram or Facebook ads. This is just in addition to all of that. But in terms of just letting the neighborhood know that you have just listed something or you have an open house coming up, I mean, there's nothing that can probably do this. And I don't really used to say that lightly, but I just really know how good this is when it comes to kind of letting the neighborhood know of your property. Yeah, any questions? I hit you guys too much. I tend to throw up on people so much with this.
No, I think that was fantastic. Do you guys have any notes on, what's the price, I guess, would be my question, or what is the base pricing? I saw some numbers earlier, but I don't know if there's like an actual like sheet.
Yeah, but pretty straightforward. So let's look at kind of the pricing structure. So basically text, right? Text only for 100 texts, $9, 211, 300 texts, $13. Right, we spend more of that at Chick-fil-A, right, than actually, right, the amount of messages we can send out. And the reason I say Chick-fil-A is because our kids love it, so they just can't get enough of it. And then if you wanted to include the text plus picture, right, so your cost goes up just a little bit, so it'll be $17, $18, and $19. And then it gives you kind of a per text rate based if you want to use kind of a custom field, right, of say I want to send it out to 450 people or whatnot. So I think for those of you guys that are kind of actively marketing and know what it costs to just basically send out 50 postcards, that's at least $25, right? Let's not talk design, let's not talk printing, let's not talk time, right? When you kind of really begin to kind of compare all of them, it'll just put it in perspective, right? Well, I can waste, whatever, $50 over here. It'll take 3 or 4 days for it to get it done. I'll get no stats on to see if anybody actually received it, or I can use something like this and get my message out within a couple minutes and get some stats back that, can provide some insight.
So, okay, that's very cool. And I guess my last question, then I'll let the agents ask if they want to. So let's say you go ahead and you do like the 300 or you do 450 or canvas, like let's say a specific market. Let's say it's just your farm, like it's not even a listing that you have, right? It could be anything. It's just access to the data. Okay. So, and then once you actually go ahead and execute on that campaign, there's a downloadable CSV for that data. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So then, so what we did was once the campaign is finalized, that's when you'll see the ability for it to download. And the reason we did that is because what some agents were doing, and it's interesting, they would, right, because we have an automatic refund policy. So let's say you set up a campaign and you set it up for it to go out. As long as the campaign hasn't gone out, you can go in, you can edit it as many times as you like. You can change the date for it to go out. You can even cancel it. If you cancel it, we set our system up for an automatic refund. Like we don't like dealing with, you having to send an email to get refunded on something. Our system would just automatically do it. Like, you know what I mean? So agents would do that just to download the list for free. And I guess shame on us for not being able to spot that loophole. But so we just made a quick tweak. So your CSV and your PDF will be available for download the second your campaign physically goes out.
Got it. Okay. All right. That's all my questions. Guys, do you have any other questions? Maggie, Marlena?
I don't have any.
No?
I would connect with Felicia. I think she might have a couple codes she can share that'll allow you guys to kind of really dive in, play with it a little bit, send a couple test campaigns to, get a feel for it. I know anytime we're using a service like this, we're always kind of hesitant, and that's completely fair. But I would definitely connect with Felicia, see if she can kind of put you in contact with some of those codes, have you kind of try it, and hopefully you have some success with it.
Yeah, I can go ahead and provide you guys with the code to go ahead and try it out. And there is another, if you guys are just looking for numbers, there is another third-party company that I know that can help you guys out with that too. So if you were talking about a farm area, if you wanted to just get information in that area, I can go ahead and get you in contact with that too. But I can save that for another class. So yeah.
Gosh,
Awesome.
I think this is really cool, especially considering, $19 to be able to tell a seller that you can canvas through texting the entire neighborhood is pretty awesome. So I think as far as cost-effective marketing goes for your sellers, it's pretty cool.
And you can even target absentee owners or owner-occupied. So if you just want to contact renters, you can go ahead and do that. Or if you want to contact owners, you can go ahead and do it that way too.
Yeah, and like depending on the type of neighborhood that you're in, that could be such a pro, depending on how you're utilizing.
How you're marketing.
So, yeah, that's awesome, guys. Thank you so much. This is very, very unique, very cool, and I really appreciate you spending the time with us.
Yes, thank you so much for allowing us to be here.
I have a question before we go, if you don't mind.
Me too.
Maggie asked in the text or the chat, when somebody does respond, where does that go? Because you had mentioned that it uses like kind of like a ghost number, I guess, to match the recipient's area code. So when they respond to it, like, walk me through how that works. Yeah,
it just doesn't go anywhere. It just basically, the message just literally does not go anywhere. They can hit send on anything, but it won't go anywhere because there's no physical service to receive it. Does that make sense? So they can respond all they like, but that response will not go anywhere. It's just basically a one-way highway out, delivering the message. Yeah, so that's what we always tell the agent, make sure please include kind of your contact information in it. I think we might just make a tag where it'll just automatically insert it, like we did the stop tag or the name tag. Maybe it'll be something like a my info tag, and it'll just automatically make sure to include that for you guys.
Okay, thanks.
Kind of a concept like if you're doing postcard, it goes one way. You don't get, any information back as to the stats, but you're still marketing yourself out there.
Exactly.
Are you able to select phone numbers that maybe you don't want it to go to? Like, for example, if there's, you have a neighborhood of like 500 homes and like 20 real estate agents live in that neighborhood and you don't want your text, well, you don't want to waste the money, even though it's like 9 cents, but still, you don't want it to go to them. Can you deselect phone numbers?
Great question. That's been brought up. We haven't really dove into maybe adding that feature. I mean, it's easily done, but that's something that maybe we should probably look into. to say, hey, like just I don't want to send it to this specific person or this specific group of people, right? So we might be able to kind of easily add that probably in the coming months.
Or just have like an option. I mean, if you know what car they drive, you probably know they're a realtor too. Just have like a no realtor tab, like no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, gosh, thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem, guys. All right. If you guys have any questions, let us know. We're always glad to help.
Yes,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome to reach out to me, and I can get you guys in contact with the code for this as well, just to test out.
Perfect.
Thank you, Felicia, too. You guys have been awesome. I know you both have other meetings to get to, so again, thanks for spending the half an hour with us, okay?
Not a problem. You guys take
Yeah.
care. Bye, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay. If anybody had any questions for me or anything, let me know. I'll stick around just for 2 more minutes. Other than that, I'm going to bounce off as well.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, Maggie. I appreciate you being on. Good questions.
Cool. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
One question.
Yeah.
Robert or Harold and I didn't see the first part of the session that they had, and we might have more questions. Can I just contact you on the side and ask you some questions? Because just a little bit that I got, because we've had some plumbing issues. We've been running around doing some stuff. Do you think I could talk to you a little bit more about it? Might be pretty helpful. Okay. I'll just send you a text and ask when it's a good time, because I want to wait till Harold. He's trying to deal with the plumbing issue.
You got it. Yeah, that's totally fair. Yeah, we can talk a little bit later. I've only got a 3:30 left today, and then I can call you after that.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, cool.
You want to do that? Thank you so much.
No
Bye.
worries. Bye. Anybody else? Mo and Heather, you guys good? All right, guys. Well, feel free to text me if you need anything.